Hi everybody, it's Paula here from Craftables. Today's video is all about the 1 in a million page that we did last week in our class. So I will show you how to go through this layout here. So there's a few little different techniques on there and we'll go through each step at a time. So if you have bought the kit, you will have a grey piece of paper in there. So we're going to keep this at the 12 by 12 size, but we are going to do a bit of stamping on it. So if you have the kit, you've already had the stamping done for you, but I just wanted you to show you how I've done it. So this is one of the, I think it is a stamp area stamp, I can't quite remember, but it's on the instructions there. What did I use? Studio Light stamp, and it's called Industrial 3.0. So that's that one there. So what I've done is I've just taken it off the paper, off the backing sheet, but I've left one of the sheets on there so that when I come to stamp, I can just sort of roll it on there like that so that I'm not getting all the sharp edges around there. So I'm just going to grab my VersaFine Onyx Black. It's one of my favourite paints to use, and I'm just going to ink it up there. And then I'm just going to flip it over and I'm just going to roll it like that. So it actually comes out really grungy and messy looking, which is exactly what we want. So this will be done in your kit. I just wanted to show you how it's been done. So I'm just going to do down this bottom piece here. I'm going to do the same idea. So I'm just going to roll it on there. And there we go. So even though it looks like it hasn't stamped very well, I didn't push down very hard, but that's a part of the whole idea of doing the grunge look there. So once we've got that done, in your kit you will have a piece of this corrugated card here. So this piece here is 12 inches long, so I want it to stay 12 inches along here. And I've just ripped off this little edge around the bottom there. So I'm just going to grab my VersaFine ink pad again, and I'm just going to really ink along the edge of that ripped part there. So if you've got a finger dauber, which I've got, or a sponge is just fine as well, or you could even just rub the pad right onto it. It doesn't give the best effect, but if you had to, you could go that way as well. Okay, but I'm just using a finger dauber to get mine in there because they tend to get right into those little cracks and creases. So right to the end there. I'll do up the sides as well. I'm not going to do along the top because that's going to be covered up by the ribbon on there. There we go. Easy peasy. Alright, so that's done. I'm now going to put some tape on the back of that, and I'm going to bring it up about, I don't know, 2.5. Let's see how far I brought it up on this one. Yeah, about 2.5 inches. So just eyeball it. It doesn't have to be perfect, so I'm just going to bring mine up about 2.5 inches. I'm just going to pop some tape on the back of that, so just along the top there. Oops. And along the bottom, and on the sides as well. Actually, because I've got that bit left over, I'm just going to smack it in the middle there. So right, so this piece is going to go about 2.5 inches up from the bottom. Okay. So it's going to line up nicely with my edges on my 12 by 12. So I'll just give a quick check. Yep, about 2.5 inches. Doesn't have to be perfect. So right, so our next step here is I'm going to put the ribbon across the bottom here. So I'm just going to put some ribbon on there. Now I do like to use tape with my ribbon, so I'm going to put tape along the whole ribbon. And just when you're putting tape down, it's a really good idea to keep it nice and tight so that it stays straight on your ribbon, or otherwise your ribbon's going to end up a little bit skew-if. So just keep your ribbon nice and tight, your tape nice and tight. There we go. And just pull that down. Sometimes if it's not tight, it goes a little bit crooked. Right, so I'm just going to put that along the top of my corrugated card. So I want it to go on the corrugated card there. So right along the top. And I'm just going to push that around to the back there. Alright, okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to do the photo mats and this orange piece along here. So grab a piece of black cardstock, and I've got a piece of orange cardstock here as well. So my orange one is going to measure 4.5 by 11.25. So 4.5 by 11.25, and then I'm going to mount it onto a black piece that is just 1/8 of an inch bigger, so you've got a little bit of a border around the outside there. So I'm going to pop that onto my black piece. There you go, and I'm just going to pop that onto there, just so I've got a little bit of like 1/8 of an inch of a black border around there. Beautiful. Alright, so that one, when I come to do it, is going to sit on the top of my corrugated card there, like that. But before we do that, we're just going to need to cut out 3 photo mats. So I've got 3 photo mats here, and they measure 3.25 by 4.25, so you're going to have 3 by 4 photos on there. Now I'm going to put one up against the edge here, so I've got a nice even orange around the outside. And I'm going to do the same on this side. So I'm going to pop those down first, so I've got a bit of a bigger gap between the middle one here, and you'll see why in a little while. So just pop those down there. Okay, so I'm just going to put the other one on this right hand side. On there. There we go. And I am going to put this third one in the middle, but it's not going to be, we have a gap there because I want to put the bit of twine around the center photo there. So I did want a bit more of a gap there, so I'm just going to pop this one right in the middle. Alright, so that's our photo mat done. So what we need to do now is poke some holes just around the corners of our center photo mat. So I've just got a pokey tool. If you want to measure it, go right ahead. I'm just going to poke a hole in there, and I'm just going to pop one of my little brads through the hole, like that. And I'm going to split the pins on the back. Now I don't want it to go like super tight. I want a little bit of a gap between the brad and the paper, just so I can get my twine in there. So I'm going to do the same on this side. And we also want to do one in the corners down the bottom as well. Okay, so just split the pins at the back there. And then the last one on this corner here as well. Okay, now we can pop this whole piece on. I just wanted to get those on before we did anything else. So pop some tape on the back, stick it down onto your layout so that it's just, excuse me, just so it's resting on the top of that corrugated card. Oops. Okay, so I'm just going to butt that right up against that corrugated card there, so there's no gap between the corrugated card and my photo mat. Beautiful. Okay, so now I want to put my twine around there. So you're going to have this, I've given you, if you've got the kit, there's quite a bit in there. So I'm just going to leave enough for me to tie a bow on that left hand side. So I'm just going to wrap it around that one and wrap it around that one there. So I'm going right around the whole brad, just so it keeps nice and tight. Alright, so when I get to that one, I am going to tie that there, and I'm just going to tie a knot and then a bow. There we go. Okay, so there's no way that's going to come off unless my brad pops off, but that's not going to happen. Right, so now you can just tie your bow in that corner. Alright, so I'm just going to cut this off a little bit so it's not hanging down everywhere. There we go. Alright, so that's that piece there done. Alright, so the next piece we're going to do is you've got a little bit of the orange paper left and some black there as well. So what I've done is I've cut this one down. What measurement is that? This one here measures 1.5 by 3.5, so 1.5 by 3.5. And then I've just made a black mat, but 1/8 of an inch bigger. So I'm just going to stick that down onto that one there. So that one just goes in the middle of that black piece, just so there's a little bit of about 1/8 of an inch of a border around there. You only want a little one. So that one's going to go down the bottom here. And this one here I think was 1.5 by 4. Yep, so 1.5 across there by 4. And I've got another matte piece there that is 1/8 of an inch bigger. And I'm just going to stick that together there as well. Okay, so that one goes on the black piece there. There we go. Right, so this one's going to go up the top. So the 1.5 by 4 piece goes, no, I'm very sorry about that. The longer piece, the 1.5 by 4 goes down the bottom here. Now I am going to actually put glue on here as well as the tape because I'm trying to stick it just to the ridges of the corrugated cards. So I'm just going to be super duper careful and make sure that this doesn't come off. So I'm going to put glue in there as well. So I have got tape around it. And I am going to put some glue in that middle piece as well, just to make doubly sure it's going to stick down to those raised ridges on the corrugated card. Okay, so I'm just going to pop it about there. If I was using just tape alone, it wouldn't stick very well, or you can use glue alone, which is fine, but I just find that I just really want to make sure that one sticks down. Okay, so this piece that's 1.5 by 3.5. Sorry, 4.5 that one. So that's going to go at the top here, and that's going to be part of our place to put our title. So that one's going to go right at the top. So up there. So it's butting up right up against the top of our photo mats. Great, so now we get to do our decorating. Now I have cut out my little bits and pieces, so there should be a pipe there, a butterfly, a couple of numbers, and these little I'm not even sure what they are. They look like, I'm not sure what they are. They look like chains or something to me. So I've just cut those out and I'm going to pop those on now. Okay, so I want my little pipe to just sit on top of my photo mats like that. So I'm just going to put a bit of glue on there. And I'm just going to try and tuck it underneath the top of my photo mat there a little bit. Great, I'll just give you a close-up of that. There you go. Right, so the two numbers I'm also going to pop at the top here. So I'm just going to glue them down and I'm just going to butt them up against the top of my photo mat again, just to give a bit more embellishment on them. So again, I'm just going to use a bit of glue. You could use tape if you want. If you wanted to 3D it, you could even put foam tape on there. There we go. Hope that's straight. And the second one on. Oops, sorry guys. There we go. Okay, so those are done there. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do this little piece down the bottom here. So this little piece here, I'm just going to stick together. So these two here. So instead of having them that way, I'm actually going to have one coming this way. So I am going to put a little bit of glue on there just so it sticks while I'm trying to get my braid in. So I'm just going to have it a little bit off skew like that. Right, so now I'm just going to poke a hole through that one. And I'm going to pop one of my brads through there. Just to hold it in place. So I'm just going to pop another little brad through the two end ones as well. So I'm just putting a little hole in there. So one on that end. Now, as you can tell, my little pins are a little bit longer than there, so I've just used my scissors to cut those off, just to make sure they don't fling everywhere. They are soft enough to use just with scissors. Okay, so I'm just going to put my last one into that end there. And I'm just going to pull this down and just cut those edges off again. There we go. Right, so those there are now put together. So the next part we're going to do is the cogs. Now in your kit you have about 5 cogs, I think, 5 or 6 cogs. Now these are done for you, so in your kit, if you've bought the kit, you will have all these done for you, but I just wanted to show you how I've done one of them. So one of them, I've just cut out a cog with my die cut machine. I've embossed it with an embossing folder. I don't know if you can see very well there, the embossing on there. And then we've used, I'll just move this out of the way, I have used the Florentine Treasure Gold, which is a paper artsy wax, and I've just got my finger and I just got a little bit of wax on there, and then I'm just going to gently rub it over the top so it gives you that beautiful goldy look on there, and it just grabs the top piece of the embossing and it just makes it really, really lovely looking. So that's another little technique you can do to give cogs and boy pages a nice little lift. Any of the waxes will be fine. I'm using that one just because I have it, but any wax is fine to be able to put onto there like that. Alright, so those are done. Bring my page back, and I'm going to just glue down my largest one up here. So I am going to use a bit of glue. Now because I haven't got any photos to put on this one just yet, I'm just going to glue half of it down so I can tuck my photo underneath. There we go. So I've got enough glue on there, and I'm just going to pop it down there. So it's just going to go a little bit over the top of my photo. So I haven't stuck this down just so that I can put my photo in there, and I can just stick that down onto my photo when I'm ready. Okay, so that's one of the cogs. So this one here, I'm going to pop down here. So again, I'm just going to do a little bit of that gluing. I don't want to glue this bit here because I don't want it to go down on an angle. So I'm just going to glue. Whoopsie daisy. I'm just going to glue most of it, but just a little bit I'm just going to leave empty. Here we go. Here's me telling you to leave it empty, and I've gone and put glue on there. Okay, there we go. So just enough to pop onto there. So I did wipe the glue off underneath here. I just didn't want that to be stuck down right down there, but you can go ahead and do that if you want. Alright, so the next one for this piece is going to go here. So again, I'm just going to put a bit of glue along the top part there. Okay. Okay, so this piece that we did earlier, I'm going to pop this down here. Now another good idea would be that you could put it on your cogs like that if you wanted to match one of the cogs up or bring the cogs together like that. I'm just going to pop mine under there though, and I am going to use tape on this just because I've got a little bit of bulkiness at the bottom there, and the glue, you'd need quite a bit of glue to keep that on, but glue's fine if you prefer glue. There we go. Okay, so I'll just give you a bit of a close-up there. So I've just popped the little chain links here, and these are my cogs with the treasure gold on there, so any wax will be fine. And now I'm just going to put my last 2 cogs up the top on my left here. So one's going to go there and one's going to go there. So I'm going to put my title across here as well. So just a bit of glue. Now because I'm putting a photo under this one, I don't want to put the glue here so I can slip the photo underneath again. So just on a part of it there. There we go. Now this one I am going to glue fully down, so that one's just going to go up in this top left hand corner there. Okay, and that's going to go there. Awesome. Okay, so those are our cogs on. So we've got the 2 at the top there, the 3 down the bottom with our chain link, and we've got the areas for our title now. Okay, so now that we've got that done, we just need to pop our title on. So in your kit, if you have it, you will have 1 in a million in there. So I'm going to put the 1 in the top there, and the in on my other little one there, and then the million down here like that. But you could pop it anywhere you like. If you wanted to put it on the corrugated card, go ahead. You don't have to do what I've done. Alright, so I'm just going to put some glue on the back of this. Okay, and that's just going to go up on my orange piece at the top here. And then these 2 pieces here. There we go. And just this one here to go, and then our little one down the bottom. There we go, and I'm just going to stick this one down the bottom. There you go, so this one's going to go right down the bottom here. And there we are. Awesome. Okay, so the very last thing to do is put our little butterfly on. So I'm just going to bend his wings a little bit, put a little bit of glue down the back of his body there, and I'm just going to pop that over top of my cogs. Great, so there is our page for the week. So I hope you enjoy it, and it would be awesome if you can pop up any finished projects that you do on our Craft Communities page on our Facebook page, and we would love to see what you've done. So thank you very much for joining me, and I will see you again next week. Bye.